welcome to r/leopardsatemyface, where Trump, surprisingly, doesn't equal low prices. The propaganda's a lie. Who'd have thought? Affordable Care Act, LAMF. I went to sign up, and I make way below the poverty limit. $12.60 a month. Y'all, I was quoted $797 a month with a $10,600 deductible. Who the hell can afford that at the poverty income line? Our country is for bar. No kidding? How terrible. If only there was some way we could have predicted this. Yeah, it wasn't like half the country and the majority of the world was warning the US voter base that this exact thing was gonna happen. I'm not American and I don't get this. Let's say I don't have money for the basic insurance. So what happens if I break my arm? Well, you're kind of fucked. You go to the emergency room, and when it comes time to pay, you either pay, go through labyrinth paperwork to get charitable aid, declare bankruptcy, or the hospital sends debt collectors to hound you until you declare bankruptcy. Yeah, but definitely not predatory or dystopian in any way, of course not. I voted for racism, but I'm losing my healthcare. Well, yeah, these MAGAs voted to be racist, not to be broke. I voted for Trump, hoping that by getting rid of all the illegals, it would finally make our healthcare system better now that they're not leeching off the system. That's never been how it's worked. Now that 2.5 million illegal aliens have been deported, why is our insurance higher than ever? Whoa, who would have thought? Maybe all the multi-billionaires hoarding the majority of the planet's wealth, telling everyone that people trying to seek a better life are the reason that they're losing money, might be lying? What? No, scumbag billionaires would never lie to me. The cost of my prescription drugs have skyrocketed, and the quality of care seems to get worse than ever. When will things start turning around? Maybe when instead, voters like you stop lapping up very obvious propaganda and lies, you know, blaming people trying to live a better life and actually contributing to the economy, and instead vote to fairly tax the multi-billionaires that actually hoard all the money and care about nothing but profits, so make all of your costs extortionate. I might, spelt like the bug might, not be able to afford health insurance this year with how bad it's gotten. I'm losing faith, Mr. Trump. Oh yeah, the multi-billionaire narcissist Nepo baby is really gonna help you. You know, working or middle-class person who's worrying about the cost of living. Yeah, he's really gonna do that instead of, you know, trying to make himself richer because he's a greedy billionaire. It's almost like illegals weren't leeching off the system, and it was all a load of shit meant to stoke anger at a small portion of the population. No, that surely can't be it. Well, yeah, of course there's no such thing as distractions. And you know, bullshit and lies meant to keep the rich rich. He would be very upset if he could connect the dots. If this person could read, they would be so upset. Well, they just might if they could spell. MAGA comes this close to self-awareness, yet fails to realise that this is the man that she voted for. No, she actually voted for imaginary fairyland Trump. You know, the one that every MAGA voter conjures up in their brain. This mythical, magical person that specifically caters to only them. You know, they all voted for magic imaginary Trump, not this Trump. Dear liberals, you and I are not friends. We disagree on everything from abortion to the Second Amendment. Your belief system is abhorrent to every personal and political value I hold. That said, you did try to warn us about Trump. You screamed and yelled from the mountaintops that he was not what he presented himself to be, and I, like many, refused to listen. I mocked you. I laughed at you when he won. I felt entitled to his victory because I dedicated 8 years of my life to his campaign. But my eyes are now open. This is not the man I voted for. When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I apologize. That really doesn't undo the damage of your stupidity and gullibleness, does it? You didn't vote for Trump, you voted for the imaginary fairy tale Trump that you conjured up in your brain. I mean, I guess thank you for apologizing for being stupid and gullible and just making shit up in your brain, but I guarantee you're not actually going to do anything to contribute to, fixing the problem that you caused. If true, then stop lying to yourself about what you think liberals believe. I guarantee you that her values are in fact abhorrent in reality. Yeah, she might as well have said, "We disagree on a bunch of stuff because I'm an entitled piece of human trash." Well, yeah, I know a lot of people that would disagree with, like the Trump regime violating human rights and international laws. Most of these right-wing nuts believe folks that liberals take strawman positions on everything. I've had weirdos tell me, a liberal, what liberals think. They weren't even going to ask if I held the positions they demanded I defend. When I started my job, my boss and his brother told me that they voted for Trump. I was gobsmacked. He regurgitated the whole Kamala, Obama and Biden are in the Epstein files shtick, along with Kamala would have had us in World War III by now, etc. Now, you might be thinking that sounds like a typical MAGA, right? No, he's smart as fuck. So is his brother. But I mean, I was so off guard by what they were saying because I could not believe what I was hearing coming from their mouths. In fact, mine was wide open. Well, the thing is, just because you're smart doesn't mean you're not gullible. Hey chat, if you guys want to see more of this gay guy reading stuff, you should totally like, subscribe and share, cause it really helps a lot. Also press those weird hype buttons, it does something apparently. Anyways, thanks for watching, and back to the video. Wow, you don't say, Laura Loomer. Loony Loomer in a leopardsatemyface video. Hate seeing her, but the video never feels quite stupid enough without her. Maybe some of those Democrats were right when they called some people on the so-called right Nazis. It's kind of undeniable at this point that we do have a neo-Nazi problem on the right. Whoa, the party that campaigned on mass deportations and is actively violating human rights might have neo-Nazis in it? Whoa, who'd have thought? The more the GOP ignores this, the bigger the election losses will be in 2026 and 2028. I don't think they're ignoring it, I think they're actively pulsating and pushing it. Trump ally Laura Loomer says Democrats were right. Whoa, it's almost like all of that warning might have actually been for a reason. Loomer's remarks come as conservatives split about the future of the Republican Party. She has argued over a series of posts in recent days that the conservative movement should have decency and reject outright racism and anti-Semitism as they have lamented the rise of neo-Nazism. Laura Loomer is saying this. The same Laura Loomer that actively makes incredibly racist and unhinged posts against Muslims. Yeah, for someone who's trying to criticize neo-Nazism, they really take up a lot of the racist and bigoted traits of them. Global Project Against Hate and Extremism warned earlier this year that there had been an explosion in active chapters of neo-Nazi active clubs in the US and abroad. Ugh. Fuck her and the horse that she rode in on. Oh, and the necromancer that reanimated her bloated corpse. 10 years of Trump's bullshit, and only now that you're recognizing the Nazis in your political group? Well, yeah, they're recognizing them, but the bets are give it another week or two, and they're gonna completely forget and go back to shilling MAGA as much, if not more, than they did previously. It's been known for decades that American Nazis vote Republican. Of course they vote red. It's the same party that houses Klan members. But, they say, the KKK were originally Democrats. And that's why they voted for Obama? Also, we can't be racist. Republicans freed the slaves. It's such a strange claim to fame. Like, if they're so proud of that history, why don't they still have those values? It's almost like they know nothing about history, or they know, but have spun it, so they're always the good guys. With some of these grifters, you gotta think, was this the plan from the start? Probably not, because all they think about is the soonest thing that gets them more money. Pro-Brexit salmon smoker Lance Foreman now wants government compensation for Brexit-related costs. Ah yes, campaigning and voting in a way which has irreversibly damaged the United Kingdom economically, and then expecting a handout from the government. Yeah, really smart, long-term thinking mindset from the right. Jesus fucking Christ. Lance Foreman, a former Brexit Party member of the European Parliament, said that the UK government should compensate the seafood industry for Brexit-related disruption. Like I said, thinking about the quickest buck. And you know, they're too narcissistic and self-absolved to actually think that Brexit might have been a bad idea. No, of course it wasn't. A, incredibly mature economic relationship with the entirety of Europe was really smart, wasn't it? Fucking tosspot grifting twats. These idiotic bastards stole my EU citizenship, fucked up my country's economy, and now want to be compensated for it? Fuck them. Fuck the hard right populism which led to this. Fuck the Daily Mail, and most of all, utterly fuck the 35% or so of the electorate who currently think that Reform are the best party to fix this mess. Wankers. Agreed, 100%. Reform UK. The best solution to deal with the problems created by the right is to go even more right. Yeah, that's definitely gonna work. Funny how he waited for Labour to get into government before asking. What a pillock. Not gonna lie, I thought that this was some new anti-Tory insult the paper was just casually throwing at this guy. I mean, salmon smoker does sound like a right British insult.